As a character artist, there are two main types of art I have posted on the internet. Fandom art, meaning characters from an already existing franchise, and OCs, or original characters, meaning characters the artist has created. I'm sure most artists who have posted both types of art on the internet have noticed the trend in where fandom art will do exponentially better than OC art. I have experienced this on virtually every platform except Instagram because it's doo-doo. And it makes sense because it's a character people know and it is more likely to get picked up in the algorithm. I am super happy when a fandom video does well and people enjoy it. It just sucks because I love my characters and stories. The social media algorithms, not as much. It feels like every video that I have a mere mention of my OCs does worse than videos without. I originally planned this video to be a kind of cheat video where I didn't care about the algorithm and had fun with my OCs. It turns out it was not. You'll see why. So if you'll indulge me, this is the story of the OC animation that nearly broke me. Let's begin. The animation I wanted to do was to the song Just Say No by Jello Apocalypse with my OC, Klay. Here she is, look at her, look. This was one of those songs where I would listen to it on repeat and go, man, I would love to make an animation to this with my OCs. Too bad I don't have the time. No longer. To give a little background on the world she lives in, the story concept is basically what if superheroes and villains were celebrities and the fights between them were simulated for entertainment like sports. Klay is a hobbyist superhero fighting battles on her off time. She often struggles to balance her education and her hobby. Certainly no parallels to my life. After a spat and break up with her hero partner, she nearly decides to drop the superhero thing entirely, until she is picked up by a higher ranked hero. And that's about all you need to know for now. I have made a comic about these guys if you're interested, link in the description. But with all that out of the way, it's time for The first thing I did was download the song, open up Premiere, and start slicing the music. I knew I was not going to use the whole song, and I tried cutting out portions of the song I knew I wouldn't use. I am not too concerned about coming up with anything concrete since I can always tweak the music after the thumbnails. My thumbnails are pretty straightforward. I just draw the thumbnails I already had in mind and try to fill in the gaps. I tend to flesh out the animations more in the sketching stage, so I'm not too worried about any gaps. I was pretty satisfied with these top 3 rows, so I knew I was likely going to be the whole scope of the project. And now it's time for... Except, no, wait, I have neglected to say an important detail. I actually haven't designed the hero that picks up Klay yet, but I do have a solid idea. The first thing I did was use the lasso tool to block out the general shapes. Every supervillain and hero I have in this universe, I try to base off of like an entertainer profession. Sharkbait is a surfer, the Comet is a boxer, Polterpunk is a musician, and Klay is an unpaid film intern. For Angie, that's her civilian name, she is one of the fastest growing heroes in popularity. I need her hero profession to be eye-catching while also being something Klay can tag team with. You know, something that would be fun to animate. So I thought paraskating could be a fun idea. And I didn't have any other ideas this far in, so I just jumped straight into it. I had a few main things I wanted for this design. I took heavy inspiration from ballerinas, especially with Angie's skirt and her feather headpiece. I'll admit, the movie Black Swan was an inspiration for Angie's character as a whole. Take that as you will. Her current name is the Ice Swan. I am not married to that name, so if anyone has any other name ideas, please let me know. And here are the blocked out designs. I was pretty satisfied with the left one, so I mostly just refined it and tweaked some details as I did the rest. For Klay, I wanted to use Klay's denim jacket outfit I've already drawn her in. Her hero design as a whole is pretty simple. She's based off of a firefly, and her lantern is what she uses to change the environment. Now that I had a general idea, thumbnails, and designs, it's time to actually get into I wanted this to be an animatic type animations like my Not Your Seed animatic with monochromatic color schemes because coloring animations are an actual pain and I would actually like to have fun with this. Because of this, I was not concerned about designs or color keys. Surely that won't have any consequences. After importing the audio into Toon Boom, and after like an hour of sketching, I had something I generally liked. There was a vision. I wanted to start by animating the hardest shot, since that would be the main showcase of Klay and Angie's powers. Doing this first would theoretically help me grasp how they perform and make the rest of the animation easier. The shot would entail Klay running up to catch Angie mid-air. Am I directly taking inspiration from the animation of Loose catching Amity? Maybe. I started animating and I hated it. I hated drawing every line. Like, I wanted to make this animation so bad. I thought I would have a blast finally letting myself animate my OCs again. But when I actually sat down to do it, I had a horrible time. If I don't even have a fun time on the videos I do for fun, then why don't I just stick to the videos I think will do good? Like, I had a much easier time designing dragons from Wings of Fire in my own style because there was already existing material I could pull from. Oh. Already existing material I could pull from, and then it hit me. I had done virtually no research on pair skating or ice skating. No wonder it felt off because I was pulling from my visual library of nothing. So after the break, I took a step back from the animation and retreated to my sketchbook. I started to sketch to try to loosen myself up and get my hand moving. I used my thick Tombow markers and tried not to care about any mistakes. I started with ice skate studies because I already struggle with drawing shoes. I then tried to draw Klay solo, trying to pin down exactly how she would use her powers to alter the environment. Not the biggest fan of these, but it was good to look at these characters outside of the animation, and it got my brain juices flowing. I then moved on to drawing Angie, referencing ice skater and ballerina poses on Pinterest. With practice of Klay and Angie individually, I then started drawing pair skate poses of the two. These aren't the best drawings I've ever done, but they did force me to actually think about how the two would perform together. Klay plays the masculine role in the pair when she is actually smaller than Angie. Typically, the masculine skater is significantly taller than the feminine skater, so I have to take that into consideration. And we have reached the end of this little sketchbook tour, I guess. These pages don't solve my problem entirely, but I do feel more confident in my vision for this animation, and I have some new ideas. This drawing of Klay hoisting up Angie gave me the idea of having her wings on her dress extend out when she's performing attacks. I also have other ideas I want to explore more before I jump back into the animation, so it's time to go back to... For Klay, her casual outfit just did not work with Angie's. I instead wanted to base her design off of masculine skater outfits, and I like it way more. It's more readable and easier to animate as well. This would be a good time to say Angie does have a hero partner that she fights regularly with before she meets Klay, but he's not important right now, so I have not designed him. For Angie, I added a couple more details. I added this outer wing-shaped layer on her dress that would extend out into wings when she performs her attacks mid-air. Next, I took the time to look up actual pair skating throws. I couldn't find any move that was remotely close to Klay running up and catching Angie mid-air like that, which is why it felt off. Using the lasso tool again, I drew quick little diagrams of various pair skating jumps. The best way I can describe it is the water-bending scroll Katara has in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I decided on the throw axle, the only throw where the pairs face each other before launch. I know I sound smart, but I literally just look up YouTube videos. It's crazy how much you can find on the internet by just one Google search. Mark my words, even with all of this extra prep, I was still pretty intimidated by this shot. So to quell my nerves, I decided to open up a new file and create a warm-up animation unrelated to the actual animation. I wanted to animate Klay skating from the side view because I did not know how she would skate from the side view, let alone a front view. Turns out, videos on ice skating are immensely helpful for reference since they point out what you should and should not do. Pretty cool. My process was pretty straightforward. I went frame by frame on the reference video and tried my best to translate it into animation. And here's the finished ice skating cycle. She's supposed to be skating super fast, probably not realistic for the triple axel, but I want to make the shot more dramatic. A good dose of suspense of disbelief is going to be needed throughout all of these ice skating shots. I tried to keep it rough, and it's definitely not perfect. Still took me like 4 hours of working on this animation instead of like the actual project, but all of this work has restored my confidence. So I reopened the project and wiped all of my progress from that shot. Actually, putting pen to screen was still a little intimidating because if I couldn't finish the shot, all of that work would have been wasted. But I took my time and I started making progress. Trying to get the speed of the throw while also trying to keep in mind anatomy, the position of the characters, and the designs are not easy, even if you have multiple drafts. But anyways, this is what I had in 10 days. I spent over 10 days on this singular shot and it is still not done. You guys, the monthly video is not happening, I am sorry. It's definitely not perfect. I didn't even finish the ending. I don't like how stiff Klay's arm is when she extends her arm preparing to catch Angie, and the speed is a bit off, but I'm pretty confident I can still finish the shot. And I wanted a break, so I moved my focus onto... So fun fact, before this video went off the rails, it was originally going to be about trying to make an animation in the reel format. Let's talk about that. So the scroll format is pretty much the #1 way social media content is consumed nowadays. And I hate it. Maybe not the entire concept of a reel, more just trying to make an animation with it. From my experience, animating in 1080 by 1920 is very cramped. It's difficult to fit more than one character. Basic framing like medium and close-up shots become virtually the same, and the UI covers even more of the video. I would take the standard to long form ratio any day. But if there is one thing I do like about Reels, it's the way YouTube separates long form and short form content into different tabs. I can comfortably post my long form videos and animations separately without it getting messy. And like, with all my complaining, I have seen some very well done animations in Reels, so I want to seriously try to make an animation in the 1080 by 1920 format to see if it is really that bad. Got all that? Yeah, that was supposed to be the intro to this video, but I think it works well enough here. In the later stages of animating, I do have some thoughts about this now, so let's just go over it. So far, I have found a few advantages to this ratio aspect. Pretty much all of the focus is on the characters, so there's less background I need to take into consideration. For some of the shots, I thought it would be fun to play with comic panels coming in and out of frame. You can get some really fun compositions that way. I was trying to tap into the webtoon scroll format. So far, I'd say that reels are generally less work intensive than the standard 1080 by 1920 format, at least for this animation. I think when I specifically tailor an animation for shorts, I can make it work. I would probably struggle more with big, grander animations that would need more space. Another thing I have mostly neglected to talk about is the color palette of this animation, so let's get into that. Remember the Not Your Seed animatic I mentioned earlier? Well, it also had these color palette shifts that I would also like to try with this animation. The animation can be separated into two parts. Part 1 where Klay is alone, and part 2 where Angie enters the picture and basically takes hold of the animation. I want to represent this with a pretty abrupt shift from yellow, Klay's colors, to teal, Angie's colors. Toon Boom has this feature where if you change a color on your palette, it changes all of the colors in your project, so I was mostly banking on that. The result, I didn't really care for any of the color palettes in these shots. They were serviceable, but not the best it could be. If you've watched my previous animation challenge videos, which you should totally do, I typically use After Effects for tweening and compositing. I wanted to see if I could make an animation entirely in Toon Boom, and I am not as familiar with Toon Boom's tweening and compositing as I am with other programs. It was way too late when I realized I was animating at 12 frames a second, meaning my tweening was going to be choppier. This is something I can live with because exporting this entire animation into Adobe After Effects and tweening everything there would be so mind-numbing, I'd rather just not. Again, this was supposed to be the freebie animation. I am still clinging onto that. I do have some things I can improve with tweening so far, but I'll put that on the list of revisions I need to do. I do think I can improve the tweening I have so far in the program, so I'll put that in the list of revisions I need to do. So the animation is nearing completion, and all I really need to do now is add a few more transitions, tweak the colors a bit, and finish that shot. And then the animation should be complete. And then I edited the whole video. That's right, up to this point, all the scripting, recording, and editing for this video has been done before the animation has been finished. Typically, YouTubers don't mention their process in making the video in the video, unless it's like a detail they learned during editing or a clarification. I weaved my editing process so thoroughly into this video, I have to talk about it now. Good going, past Koi. The amount of stuff I did before I finished the actual animation is a little amusing. In this time, I finished all of the animation segments. I even did unnecessary stuff like a couple of new sprites. I animated my little editing loop Koi, and did stuff that wasn't even related to the video, like my channel icon and banner, which I have neglected for over a year at this point. The channel banner reflecting my current mood. Guys, I have a solution for procrastination. Just find something else you need to procrastinate harder on. It's foolproof. Not knowing how the video ended while actively creating the narrative of this video felt like I was placing down the train tracks as the train was going at full speed. But eventually, I ran out of things to procrastinate on, and I had to actually finish the animation. If I go back to the recordings, I can see that I have been procrastinating for 18 days. Holy crap, guys, this video is far past its 1-month deadline. And like, whatever, right? I was almost done. I just had to tweak a few things and finish that shot, and I would be good to go. I don't think explaining what I went through would do it justice, so I'm just gonna show you what happened. I need this video to be done though. I am so tired of this video. I need it to be done for myself, even if it isn't like to the standard I want it to be, which would be fully animated, but no. Oh, it's just trying to save and it's taking forever, bro. It's over. I don't know if I should put that in the script too, like how it just takes longer to load. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna draw in between these periods because there's nothing for me to do. With bigger files like these, it just takes so long to load anything. It's really frustrating. I think that definitely does add to the stress too of just like bigger files taking forever to load, especially with coloring. It's because Toon Boom is that powerful or because my computer isn't the best, even though it's a new computer, so I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of insufferable sometimes. I'm so fucking done. I don't care. I didn't expect to have a breakdown when I opened this file. Well, I have this open, so I'm gonna watch it on my big screen. I don't like it. Can I be so honest, you guys? I don't like it. I don't want to post this. Well, it's not done yet either, so let's finish it, but I'm like, it's not what I envisioned in my head. Can I just blame it on the Reels format? I think I'll just do that. This has been like 2 months of work. Let me just finish this, and then we'll see how I feel. I need to finish this and do other things. That's just, I can't work on this forever. Okay, we're just gonna do the ugly yellows because it contrasts. Yes, it does contrast. Okay. Couple things I want to fix. So this part is really stiff just because I moved her arm. This is always a placeholder, so we're just gonna basically redraw it to make it look more natural. A lot of this is really janky, but you know what? We're keeping it because I said so. There's a reason why I try not to come back to my old animations, because I can see all the flaws in it and then I don't want to finish it. But we're too far in deep, so we just gotta finish it. I think I might have to redo this frame because what is it doing? What is it? Why does it look like this? I spent so long in this freaking shot and it sucks. Okay, we're gonna finish this shot and then we're gonna fix the other 2 frames that are actually killing me right now. It doesn't even need to look great. It just needs to look okay. I know it sounds like I'm being dramatic, but guys, I have worked on this for so long, and the fact that it looks bad is heartbreaking. I don't know, man. I really don't like how stiff Klay looks, but I am not at that level yet, and I don't have the capacity right now to try to improve. I just need to get this done. I know that sounds bad, but I just need to get this done. I will improve later. Get this done now before I explode. I think I need to cut out some of these frames. See, look at this build up. Look how fast this is, and then look how slow this is. That's the problem, but if I delete this one frame, what would happen? See, that's like better. It's already a bit better. We're just gonna bite the bullet and draw this freaking frame. These freaking frames. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. I can always redo it. I won't, but I could. That's a possibility. She's literally just T-posing. Just thought today was gonna be a normal day of me working on the video, but I guess I forgot that I was actually working on the animation and not procrastinating on everything else. I think I'm gonna end it here, but we will be back. Alright, goodbye. Bye forever. Alright, chat, I think I might actually try to finish this animation today. After some consideration, I think I might just leave the animation as it is after I finish the shot. And again, this is for fun, so I can decide whenever I want to stop. Like, there is no such thing as fully complete. You can keep polishing it forever. I'm gonna use clip and I'm gonna try. This is going to probably frustrate me to no end, but let's just try it. I want transitions, but I have no idea how I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work at all, but it's better than what I have, so let's focus on that. The thing is, it doesn't really stand out. We can just make it white, I don't care. Yeah, I think it might be done. There's a lot of errors, but the shot is finished. Like, I can't feel any joy now, but I'll give a second and maybe I'll come to liking it. Maybe I don't have to like it ever. It's my decision. It's the thing with finishing art projects. It's like, it's not a huge explosion when you're done. You just randomly stop and go, I'm done. That is literally it. You're just like, oh, okay, now what? Maybe not as done as it could be, but I'm done, so it's done. You know? It's been 2 months. 2 months! I'm gonna export this. Today is May 12th. You know, the day before my finals. And this is the thing that has been causing me the most stress. Thank you for joining me. I think future me will wrap this video up now somehow. So yeah, goodbye. Yeah, I crashed out twice. But after a couple days, I did finish it. I would like to circle back to what I said about it being a day before finals. I became more panicked the closer it came to finals and the longer it took to finish this video. My set deadline was as soon as possible, and as you can imagine, that can be very stressful. I needed to keep working on this no matter what else was in my life. I have neglected to talk about my other responsibilities and projects as well. Not many of you know that I have been working on a comic in the background. I am like 80 pages in. This is serious. I'm too far gone now. There is nothing out yet. Ask me again in like 6 months. But I was working on a batch of 14 pages that I started around the same time as this video. And I shit you not, I finished it the same day as I finished the animation. And that's not all yet. Around a month ago, I had an animation assignment for a class, and I needed to create a 15-second animation. I will play it in the background right now because I don't see anywhere else I could post this, but having to insert this into my daily schedule definitely ate at my time and my sanity. I don't exactly know why I'm putting this information in the video. Maybe to explain to myself why I procrastinated on finishing it for so long, or why the animation isn't up to my standards, or maybe I'm just stalling and showing the final animation. And to stall a little bit longer, before we get to the final animation, we have to do my favorite segment of the video. How much time of my life did I spend on this 30-second animation? I keep track of how long I spend on a video each day in a code only I understand. I started here and ended all the way here, so let's add up those numbers. So here are the numbers for all of the pre-production and animation, not including the video or any art for the video. In total, I worked on this animation for 59 days and spent a total of 2,346 minutes, or 39 hours and 6 minutes, averaging 40 minutes daily. That's a whole lot of time. I hope these last 2 segments have helped you understand the anguish in the crash out segment a little bit more. I have spent so much time on this animation. But with that, I have nothing else I can stall on, so without further ado, here is the final animation.
How do you balance the irons in the fire when you keep getting burned and you live with a liar? Terrified that you're being inefficient or spinning your plates and washing the dishes. Friends all say that you need to take a break before you're broken, but you're terrified because in your eyes you know you need to go. And all your taxes breaking your back and wishing for freedom. Life's an elastic prison of plastic, you've got to make it so.
Yep, that's the animation. If you would like to watch it in scroll format like God intended, it should be in my shorts tab. I'll also leave a link in the description. And oh yeah, the fandom and OC stuff. This video has gone completely off the rails, but you know, draw what you want to draw, whether it be OC or fandom. Try not to worry about views, especially if it's just for fun. Views and likes should not dictate your enjoyment of what you want to create. For this channel going onward, I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like doing, whether it be fandom or OC related. And animation is stressful no matter the subject matter. It takes so much effort just for a few seconds, so make sure to pace yourself. So back to the animation. Do I like it? I think I'm way too close to the animation to feel like I can make a concrete decision, but I do have a feeling it will grow on me. I think we as artists forget how much effort an art project actually takes when we envision it in our head, and the compromises we will inevitably have to take. We set out to create something, and it almost always doesn't come out as expected. Maybe we're not at the skill level, maybe we don't have as much time to spend on it as we like. I think it's good to take your project at face value and appreciate it for what it is. One of the plus sides is you will improve even if you aren't satisfied with the project. Would I make this animation again knowing what I would go through to make it? Yes, I would. I learned a hell of a lot and I got more comfortable with Toon Boom's tweening system with this project. And I don't think reels are as bad as I initially made them out to be. The format can be good for fast, quick, lower stakes animation if you want to test out an idea without having to stress about composition. I have a feeling I would have an even harder time with this animation if it wasn't 1080 by 1920, just because I would have to take a lot more background and composition elements into consideration. And to add another plus, this animation helped me flesh out my OCs and stories way faster than if I didn't make the animation. I solidified Angie's design, and I think I can communicate what I had in mind for Angie and Klay more easily to people now through the animation. I am really excited to explore them further. I will be drawing them more. I'm very excited to get Andy to interact with another character in my story. Cough cough, read the comic if you would like to meet him. And if I do this right, this video should be posted on my comic's first year anniversary, May 14th, which is pretty cool. You guys should read it. Read it. You should totally read it. I think you should. The video is almost over. To just talk about original characters, they're yours forever. You're the only person who can draw these characters and tell the story. And that is what personally gets me really excited about them. Right now, I have Angie's profile on Toy House. Toy House is basically a storage site for OCs. I like to store all of my drawings there. I will be uploading all of the art and animation from this video there as well. If you would like to learn more about my characters or see literally all of the art I've ever made of them, I'll link their profiles down below. I put a lot of effort into my OC profiles on Toy House, so if you take a peek, that would be greatly appreciated. I feel like I'm the only art YouTuber to promote Toy House of all platforms, but this is the one I am actually most active on. I literally post all of my art on here, you guys. I post so much OC art. But yeah, that is all from me for now. I would like to thank all of you for coming on this absolute roller coaster with me. I'm sorry if this video was not what you expected. It was not what I expected either. I did not know this would happen, but we made it. Thank you for watching. Keep creating. Koi out.